Imagine a world cloaked in silk, whispered secrets, and candlelit tea rooms, where every gesture, every smile hides a story of power, influence, and hidden knowledge. This is the world of the geisha, a world that few truly understand. For centuries, these enigmatic women have walked the delicate line between artistry and intrigue, mastering not just dance, music, and conversation, but the very art of persuasion itself. Most people think of geishas as entertainers, women who perform, who charm, who exist as a symbol of elegance. But the truth goes far deeper. Behind the carefully painted faces and intricately tied kimonos lies a hidden history, one intertwined with politics, societal control, and clandestine networks that shaped the Edo period and beyond. These women were observers, confidants, and sometimes even advisors to powerful men. Their influence was subtle but undeniable, a quiet force behind the public stages of history. In this journey, we will peel back the veil and explore the secret world of geishas, their origins, their training, their hidden power, and the myths that have followed them for centuries. By the end, you'll see that beneath the beauty and grace, there exists a hidden world full of cunning, strategy, and untold stories waiting to be discovered. The story of the geisha begins long before the iconic white makeup and delicate kimonos. In the early Edo period, Japan was a nation in transformation. The rigid class system, the rise of merchant wealth, and the growing urban centers created spaces where culture and entertainment could thrive. Among these bustling streets and tea houses, the first geishas emerged, not as the polished figures we recognize today, but as performers, musicians, and storytellers who brought refinement to an evolving society. Originally, the role of female entertainers was intertwined with a much broader spectrum of skills. Music, dance, poetry, and conversational elegance were essential tools. But so was the subtle art of reading people and navigating social hierarchies. In a world where alliances were made in whispered conversations behind sliding doors, the geisha became more than an entertainer. They became trusted companions, advisors, and occasionally the keepers of secrets that could sway fortunes and reputations. These early geishas honed their craft in districts that were carefully regulated and observed. From the floating world of pleasure quarters like Kyoto's Gion to Edo's bustling entertainment districts, their artistry was more than aesthetic. It was a language. Every movement of the fan, every glance, every carefully timed word held meaning. Understanding this world meant recognizing that beauty was power, and the ability to command attention could translate into influence beyond the tea house walls. As we explore the evolution of the geisha, you'll see how these women transcended mere performance, shaping culture and history in ways that few outsiders could ever comprehend. From their origins as performers to their rise as influential cultural figures, the journey is one of dedication, strategy, and subtle mastery. A hidden world that has fascinated Japan and the world for centuries. Becoming a geisha was never simply about donning a kimono or applying makeup. It was a lifetime of rigorous training, discipline, and devotion. Young girls, often beginning in their early teens, entered the world of the okiya, the geisha houses, where every day was a lesson in art, etiquette, and observation. Here, novices, called maiko, learned the subtle skills that would define their careers: the precise movement of the fan, the delicate handling of musical instruments, and the art of conversation that could entertain, charm, or influence powerful patrons. The training was grueling. A single misstep in posture, speech, or timing could undo months of preparation. But behind the surface of beauty and elegance, the Maiko were learning far more than performance. They were learning to read people, understand hidden motives, and navigate the intricate hierarchies of society. Every glance, gesture, and tone carried significance. Every tea ceremony or performance was a lesson in subtle diplomacy. Geisha also kept secrets, sometimes astonishingly profound. They were confidants for influential men and women, privy to political, financial, and personal affairs that could never be spoken outside the tea house. In a society where appearances were everything, the geisha operated in the shadows, wielding influence quietly but decisively. Loyalty, discretion, and emotional intelligence were as important as artistic talent. This training transformed them from simple entertainers into guardians of tradition, culture, and knowledge. Each Maiko's journey was a testament to perseverance, artistry, and intelligence, a path that would eventually lead to mastery, recognition, and the revered status of a full-fledged geisha. Beyond the enchanting performances and meticulous appearances, the life of a geisha was layered with secrecy and subtle power. To the untrained eye, they were merely elegant entertainers, yet behind the veil of their delicate makeup and elaborate kimono lay a world of intelligence, influence, and cunning. Each interaction, each whispered conversation, was part of a broader tapestry of social navigation. Geisha were trusted advisors and confidants. Samurai, merchants, and politicians sought their company not only for entertainment, but for insight. A carefully placed word, a subtle hint, or a skillfully delivered story could shape decisions, guide alliances, and even alter fates. In the tea house, nothing was trivial. Every detail mattered, from the tilt of a fan to the choice of tea served. Their social training was as intricate as their artistic education. Geisha learned to read subtle emotional cues, discern hidden intentions, and maintain perfect composure under pressure. This was their shield and their power. Discretion was paramount. Secrets shared with a geisha were never to be revealed. Violating this trust could mean ostracism, disgrace, or worse. Yet, the hidden life was not solely about influence. It was also about survival and community. Geisha shared wisdom, supported one another, and preserved centuries-old traditions in an ever-changing society. The world outside may have seen only beauty, music, and dance. But behind the veil existed a complex, vibrant network of strategy, intellect, and unspoken authority that few could comprehend. This dual existence, public elegance, private mastery, was the essence of the geisha, a life lived delicately on the surface but fiercely in the shadows. In the world of the geisha, patronage was not just a source of income. It was a delicate dance of loyalty, discretion, and influence. Patrons, known as dana, were often wealthy men seeking companionship, conversation, and cultural refinement. But beyond mere appearances, these relationships were built on mutual benefit and unspoken rules. A geisha offered grace, intelligence, and skill, while the patron provided protection, status, and resources that allowed her to thrive. Yet, these bonds were rarely straightforward. Emotional entanglements had to be carefully balanced with professional boundaries. A geisha's reputation could rise or fall depending on the alliances she maintained. A single misstep, an ill-timed comment, or broken discretion could unravel carefully cultivated networks, tarnishing her name or even endangering her house. patrons themselves often wielded influence in politics, commerce, and society. By forming relationships with geisha, they gained access to a unique intelligence network. In whispered conversations behind paper screens, confidential matters were discussed, decisions subtly influenced, and future strategies tested. Geisha became intermediaries between powerful men, their observations shaping choices made in castles, merchant houses, and government offices. Beyond the pragmatic, these bonds were deeply human. Mentorship, friendship, and subtle trust were essential. Senior geisha guided newcomers, teaching them the codes of conduct, etiquette, and strategy necessary for survival. Every gesture, song, and movement carried meaning, an unspoken language of loyalty and subtle persuasion. Through these forbidden bonds, geisha navigated a world where elegance, discretion, and intellect intertwined. Their influence extended far beyond the teahouses, shaping lives, decisions, and histories. What outsiders saw as performance was, in truth, a carefully orchestrated symphony of power, secrecy, and human connection, performed endlessly behind the veil. Long after the lacquered doors of Edo-era teahouses closed for the night, the influence of geisha persisted, quiet, subtle, yet profoundly enduring. Their world, cloaked in elegance and ritual, left a mark that would ripple through centuries, bridging tradition with modernity. Though the bustling streets of Tokyo and Kyoto have changed, the legacy of geisha survives in cultural memory, art, and even contemporary society. Modern geisha, or Geiko, continue to embody centuries of skill, discipline, and artistry. While fewer in number than in their historical peak, they remain cultural ambassadors, preserving traditional music, dance, and ceremonial practices that might otherwise have vanished. Each performance is a living testament to a heritage built on secrecy, refinement, and nuanced human understanding. The ancient codes, taught by mentors to young apprentices, are preserved not only in gestures and songs, but also in the quiet dignity with which they navigate social and professional networks. Yet, the shadows of their history linger. The myths, whispered stories, and speculation about hidden relationships with powerful patrons still capture imaginations worldwide. Films, books, and documentaries explore these narratives, often romanticizing or dramatizing them, yet always pointing to the undeniable truth. Geisha were not mere entertainers, they were keepers of knowledge, arbiters of influence, and symbols of resilience. In contemporary Japan, echoes of the past intertwine with the present. Festivals, cultural exhibitions, and educational programs highlight the artistry of geisha, while scholars analyze historical records, uncovering the subtle power they wielded behind screens and in private parlors. The modern fascination is not solely about beauty or performance. It is about understanding a sophisticated social system where intelligence, artistry, and discretion shaped lives and decisions in ways the world seldom recognizes. Ultimately, the story of geisha is one of endurance. Despite societal changes, modernization, and global influence, their tradition persists. It teaches that mastery is not just about skill, but also about understanding human nature, forging alliances, and navigating complex social webs. The veil between history and legend may be thin, but through the art, stories, and practices of geisha, the secrets of a bygone era continue to resonate, reminding us that elegance, intellect, and subtle power are timeless forces that leave enduring shadows on the tapestry of human history.